China raises tariffs on US imports to 125%.
Estonian authorities detained an oil tanker which forms part of Russia's shadow fleet early on Friday morning just outside Tallinn Bay.
Ukraine's military pushes back against Russia in the Battle of Pokrovsk. Meanwhile, civilians continue to evacuate. China will raise tariffs on US goods to 125%, up from 84%, taking effect on Saturday, but said it won't go any higher, according to Beijing on Friday. The tariffs come in retaliation to the US decision to hike levies to a total of 145% on imported goods from China. In a statement, the Chinese Finance Ministry said even if the US continues to impose higher tariffs, it will no longer make economic sense and will become a joke in the history of the world economy. It added that China will fight to the end. The American S&P 500 and Dow Jones stock markets dropped following the news, adding to a week of ups and downs. The dollar also fell nearly 2% against the euro after China's announcement. Earlier this week, Trump paused the majority of tariffs for a period of 90 days.
Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez said on Friday that he had discussed recent US tariffs imposed on Beijing with Chinese President Xi Jinping and called on him to talk with his American counterpart to resolve the ongoing trade war.
Le he trasladado al presidente Xi, como he dicho también en otras ocasiones, públicamente ante los medios de comunicación, que las guerras comerciales no son buenas, no gana nadie y que probablemente no, estoy seguro, el mundo necesita que tanto China como Estados Unidos hablen.
After meeting with Xi, Sánchez said that while China and the European Union have differences, they should find negotiated solutions to these issues. As the world's third largest consumer market after the United States, the EU is trying to find a more balanced relationship with China. Spain believes that having greater cooperation with China in areas of common interest would make it easier to weather the storm created by Washington. The main concern in the EU is China flooding the bloc with discounted goods as a result of US tariffs, which would hurt European producers. The US administration has criticized Sánchez's visit. This was the Spanish leader's third trip to the country in the last 2 years, as his government seeks to boost investment from the Asian giant. Prior to this, Sánchez's last official visit to China was in September 2024, when he met President Xi Jinping amid ongoing EU-China trade discussions.
And I say that
in a bid to justify the now-paused tariffs on foodstuffs, Donald Trump recently claimed that agricultural goods from other parts of the world, such as the EU, are unsafe for American consumers and do not meet the US standards.
These other countries are all for this calamity.
The head of the EU Food Safety Agency, EFSA, Bernard Url, refuted this characterization of European foods in an interview with Euronews.
This cannot be food from the European Union, for sure not. The food in the European Union is safe. It's because of safe production methods. It's because of inspection, because of enforcement of the food legislation, and also because of EFSA. If Mr. President would be speaking about food from the EU, it's wrong.
In this 90-day truce on tariffs called by Trump on Wednesday, the European Commission now faces tough negotiations with the US to avert a trade war. One potential strategy could involve a promise to increase imports from the US to ease trade tensions. But according to Earl, the EU will not lower its food safety standards to achieve that goal.
I'm absolutely sure food safety standards are not negotiable. We have our European standards. They are the highest in the world, and they will stay like that. There might be other trade issues to be dealt with. Yes, it's not my business. But on food safety, there will be no compromise.
Europe's handling of recent outbreaks, such as avian flu, has demonstrated the effectiveness of EU food safety standards.
In principle, we start from a less good point compared to the United States, but we have it under control. In the US, we have now different strains of avian flu, so also here I would say Europe is a good example.
With the latest pause move, more and more experts believe that the tariffs are just a way to start bilateral negotiations. Although it is difficult to foresee the outcome of all this, the EU looks set to stick with its standards. Estonian authorities detained an oil tanker which forms part of Russia's shadow fleet early on Friday morning, close to the island of Egna, just outside Tallinn Bay. The vessel named Kivala had been sanctioned due to past activities by both the EU and at least 3 non-EU countries, Canada, Switzerland and the UK, and was en route to the Russian port of Ust-Luga. The vessel lacks a flag state, meaning it is not permitted to sail on the open seas.
Ei ole ju mingi saladus, et viimase aasta jooksul Soome laes on piisavalt neid aluseid juurde tekkinud, kes siin dokumentideta läbi sõidavad. Ja võiks ju julgelt öelda, et tegemist on osa varilaevastikust, mis kasutab siis Läänemerd kaupade vedamiseks, mis on keelatud. Või kinnipidamise ajaks juba oli selgunud, et tal ka puudub siis lipuriik, keda ta esindab, liputa laev. Ja sellised laevad lisaks tegelikult liigelda ei tohigi. Ja Eesti siis rakendas aluse suhtes õigust seda laeva siis kinni pidada kontrolliks.
According to the Navy, 24 people are aboard the Kivala, and the ship's captain, who is reportedly a Chinese national, has been cooperative during the investigation so far. Estonian authorities conducted the operation using Navy vessels and helicopters around 3 a.m. on Friday, just before the Kivala entered Estonia's exclusive economic zone.
Ukrainian soldiers in the eastern Donetsk region near the city of Pokrovsk say that they have gained momentum in pushing back Russian troops. The Battle of Pokrovsk has been ongoing for the past 9 months. The city serves as a major logistical hub for the Donbas region.
Даже просто зараз дивитися Покровський напрямок розглядати. Ми їх стримуємо. Ми їх давимо. Ми просуваємося вперед. Ми не відходимо зараз. Зараз ми працюємо.
According to Ukraine's Air Force, 39 Russian drones were launched over Ukraine from Thursday into Friday, 24 of which were shot down, affecting the regions of Dnipro, Donetsk and Zhytomyr. Meanwhile, evacuations of families with children in frontline towns and villages of the Donetsk region continue. In cases of families with children who refuse to leave, a special unit named the Guardianship Authorities are allowed to temporarily remove children, according to an inspector of the Juvenile Prevention Department. On Thursday, Russia claimed to have taken control of the village of Zuravka.
EU and Ukrainian leaders are meeting in Brussels for a 2-day business summit. The focus is on deepening economic ties and speeding up Ukraine's recovery and path towards EU membership. Ukraine's Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal urged European businesses to invest now, calling for Kiev's integration into the bloc to be fast-tracked.
We are not a buffer zone, we are not a grey area, we are Europe's new opportunity to rediscover its identity. We are ready to become a new contributor and exporter of security, energy, critical resources and digital innovations. Accelerating Ukraine's EU accession is not just a gesture of solidarity, it is an investment in Europe's strength. We call on European leaders to fast-track Ukraine's integration and shorten our path to full membership.
Poland's European Affairs Minister declared it a historic opportunity, arguing the EU's focus must shift from Russia first to Ukraine now. Italy also voiced strong support for Ukraine's full membership, while also stressing the need for continued reforms. Euronews asked the European Commissioner for Enlargement if the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán is right when he claims Ukraine's membership would completely destroy the European market, dry out cohesion funds and harm Hungary.
He's not right, because we will have Ukraine as one of the members of the EU in the future. We are working on this. 26 EU member states support this vision. We could end all the screening processes in this year, so we will be ready when the Council will be able to bring the conclusion to open all the clusters. I am sure that this will be able in this year. But of course, we have to work also with Hungary
Kyiv believes that as Europe is searching for a new point of equilibrium on geopolitical security, economics and values, the result of the war for Ukraine will be crucial for the continent's future.
Six people were killed as a helicopter crashed into the Hudson River between Lower Manhattan and the New Jersey waterfront. Officials say the aircraft, a helicopter from the company New York Helicopters, lost control as it was conducting a regular tour of the city. The crash killed a family of 5 Spanish tourists, including 3 children, in addition to the pilot.
3 adults and 3 children were on board a Bell 206 helicopter that had left from the downtown skyport just about 3 p.m. The pilot and a family visited from Spain with our preliminary information as at this time.
Officials say the helicopter began breaking apart mid-air before crashing at around 3 p.m. local time. Eyewitnesses say loud bangs could be heard as the chopper plunged into the river.
I just saw the plane started falling apart in midair, and then the tail came off, and then just flipped over in midair and started falling into the ground. Propeller still propelling without the plane helicopter as it was falling. And I got video of it flipping into the water.
The Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board say they'll conduct thorough investigations into the crash. The accident is the latest high-profile aviation disaster in the United States. Many are questioning the safety of flying and are calling for tightening regulations and air travel safety precautions.